the Canelo Mayweather hate continued. Watching Barack and the other guy on the zone, the other guy was getting mad. That Floyd was saying what he was saying to Tank and supposedly interrupting Tank and his trainer. Um, and Barack had to set the record straight. Floyd has been in the corner with Tank actually, and with his trainer, Coach Calvin, and his input. He actually helped train Tank for the fight against Leo Santa Cruz, so he was part of the training camp. And Floyd's actively involved in Tank's career. Now, not everything I agree with that Floyd does, but you can see he's giving Tank more and more, so Tank gets to do what he wants to do. Um, Mayweather said something that a lot of people are taking to heart, like, really seriously. You're taking it on surface value for what it is. I personally don't think Mayweather means what he says because he never really backed it up. They were trying to get the Garcia fight. Um, I've heard Mayweather say how Tank, is only going to face PBC fighters and his fighters. That's a load of bullshit. That is not possible. Um, I mean, you could do it, but you would fuck up Tank's career. Period. Sorry about the F bomb. And I just don't see Mayweather doing something like that because Mayweather always faced the best in his career. And the best at 135 right now is Teofimo Lopez. The best at 140 is Josh Taylor. The best at 140, yeah. And one at 130, best at 130, well, you could say Tank is the best at 130, but the next best at 130 is Oscar Valdez. Okay. So I mean, uh, what I think though Mayweather's talking about, and I think that would make sense, is Tank is always going to be the A side. They're building up Tank to be an A side fighter. Period. He's going to be the draw. He's going to be the guy that brings the ticket sales, the pay per views. I can see that happening. Therefore, any negotiations that have to happen have to go through Mayweather Promotions. As with Pacquiao, Mayweather Promotions basically brought the load, not Top Rank, but Mayweather Promotions brought the load of promoting uh, the Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight. So I could see, like Barack was saying, that anybody facing Tank is going to have to do work with Mayweather Promotions, Al Heyman, Leonard Ellaby, and Floyd Mayweather. I could see that happening. And they're going to be the A side, and they're going to call the shots. So I can see that happening. I don't see exclusively PBC fighters and Mayweather promotion fighters facing Tank. That don't make no damn sense. Even though I see that Top Rank might, if Bob Arum dies, for example, I was like, I don't know if I was telling you guys this on any stream, but if Bob Arum dies, I can see a situation where Top Rank does business with the PBC directly. Because Top Rank doesn't really do that much business with the PBC. Top Rank's kind of self-contained. They do business with themselves. And this is another thing I wanted to say. Floyd got criticized, and this is why I'm talking about the Mayweather hate. Floyd gets criticized for saying he want to keep everything in house, but that's what Bob Arum do. Nobody criticizes Bob Arum, and when Bob Arum says that, nobody criticizes Bob Arum for that. You know what I mean? Um, it's what it is. You know. You know. Um, but anyways, I don't think that. I think it's ludicrous that Floyd say only PBC fighters and his fighters. That don't make no sense, especially at 130, 135, 140. Now, if PBC dominates 147, so if he had said that, let's say Tank was fighting at 147, and he was like, dude, we doing, we just exclusively doing PBC. Now that makes sense because the majority of the top tier fighters are at PBC. So I mean, the only guy that's not at PBC is Terrence Crawford and Virgil Ortiz, but everybody else is PBC. So, um, with respect to what's up, boxing scientist, the boxing scientist is up in that. He says Floyd means that all roads lead to the PBC very soon. Hmm. I hear you, brother, and I disagree. There's still the zone. There's going to be top rank. Top rank is still going to be around, and Golden Boy is going to still be around. And so I think Floyd. As much he could mean it, he can mean how much he wants. It's not going to help Davis. Might make some money for him for a while, but I don't think it's going to be in his best interest because Devin Haney's with the zone is, Devin Haney's not going to go across to the PBC unless he has to make a fight. And if he makes a fight, he will not be a PBC fighter. Yes, he'll be on PBC. I can see that happening. Tank versus Devin on PBC, but not necessarily a PBC fighter. You know what I mean? But anyways, people just blew up when Floyd said that, right? I just think it's an unrealistic proposal anyway, so it didn't bother me. But just the hate, man, the hate and the anger. I was watching the other guy. I forgot what the other guy's name is. It's Baraka and the other guy. And Barack's more cool, calm, and calculated. The other guy, like, he lost his shit. And of course, the other guy, he's not a black dude. So, he lost his shit. And I'm like, what? And I go when I look on social media. Now, Floyd gets a lot of love now, okay? It's kind of like Zack Snyder gets a lot of love now, for those of you who know my movie channel. But they still got haters out there. And there are people who just don't like Floyd for some reason or the other. You know what I mean? And, all of this talk about the boxing scientist says Golden Boy will be finished very soon. They lost their cash cow, Canelo. Nah. Now, Golden Boy has always existed. They always get new talent. Of course, Canelo will be going across to the PBC for his next couple of fights. I do believe he's going to negotiate with the PBC, and I think they're going because he's got to get the Caleb Plant fight, right? So Canelo's going to be across with the PBC. But Canelo's also across with the Zone. And I'm not mad at what Floyd is saying to some degree, but it's just that, like I said before, I just don't think it's realistic. I think, you got the top tier guys like Teofimo Lopez, you got Vasily Lomachenko, you got Ryan Garcia, you got, you know, Josh Taylor, you know, Jose Ramirez, all the top guys at 140, except for Regis Prograis, Mikey Garcia, them kind of guys. What's my boy name? Junior. He was a world champion at 135, and Mikey Garcia beat him. I forgot what his name is. Something Junior. With Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner is his manager. There's Adrian Broner, of course. So there's a bunch of guys that top guys out there, and big names out there. And not all of them are with the PBC. Most of them are not. So, but this is what I gotta say. It's the hate that people got for Floyd Mayweather. Recently, there and Canelo as well. Canelo and Floyd, they keep on getting this hate, and I don't understand it. Robert Easter Jr. That's the name, bro. Yeah, Robert Easter Jr. They get this hate, and I'm like, why are these guys getting this hate? Recently, people were saying, they keep on saying certain things which are just not true. They said that Floyd waited out Pacquiao till Pacquiao declined. First of all, Floyd didn't wait out nothing. Floyd is the guy that did the offering. I keep on saying this over and over again. Floyd offered to face Pacquiao in 2010, and then in 2012, he made a second offer. They were both turned down by Manny Pacquiao in his camp. How am I supposed to make a fight with somebody who don't want to make a fight with me? How's that supposed to happen? I'm not waiting on the dude. I'm trying to make the fight with the dude. He rejects me twice. Third time, I personally see him to make the fight with him. I get his manager to set it up, and we are able to actively make the fight with this dude. And this dude, he goes speaking a whole bunch of lies on social media and on public platforms and on television shows saying how he want to fight me. But then when I make an offer to him, he turns it down. All right? So I'm surprised that the public's still buying into that bullshit that he's ducking Manny Pacquiao and he tried to wait out Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? It makes no damn sense to me. None. Boxing Science says Pacquiao didn't want to take a drug test. And to this day, we're hearing these question marks on Pacquiao. I heard negotiations with Pacquiao and Errol Spence are falling through, and I wouldn't be surprised it has something to do with drug testing. And Pacquiao's own um, promotional fighter, uh, John Rael Casimiro. Right now, they're clashing with Nonito Donaires' camp because Nonito Donaires alleging that this dude is not taking drug testing, that he's enrolled in VADA, but he's not showing up for his tests. Okay, this drug testing thing keeps on haunting Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what's up with that because that's some question marks right there. I just want to hear it resolved. To me, Casimiro was always a clean fighter, so that was kind of shock. Of course, Memo Heredia is in camp with those guys. So I don't know what Memo do. Memo kind of questionable kind of dude. I always saw Casimiro as above board, so it's kind of a little bit shocking. And with Pacquiao, there always was a question marks on Pacquiao. Up to recently, there, King Nine Bundridge was talking about Pacquiao going up in weight classes, and people were questioning him, but because he kept on knocking out people. But here's Tank doing the same thing he said, and nobody's questioning Tank. But the difference is Tank's a big dude. Tank walk around 165. Tank and Adrian Broner are big guys. Tank eat like crazy. Okay, Tank's a dude that can get down in weight. He can get down to 130. Okay, on the scales. But Tank is a big guy. He's a big physically. You can just look at him and you see he's physically a big dude. Tank walk around 160 something. Okay, just recently there. What's my boy? They used to call him Little B Hop. I forgot what his name is. You guys know who I'm talking about. He walk around on fight night. He be in the ring 155 pounds. This is a dude that fight at 130. So the guy's a hell of a lot bigger than their weight class. Okay, that's how it is today. Today the guys are bigger. They're stronger. They're fast and everything. They're literally bigger dudes. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't come through here watching my videos and don't smash that like button. You better smash that like button when you come in here. Okay? If you like what you're seeing and you're sticking around, then smash the like button. Okay? But I don't like the Canelo hate. I don't like the Floyd hate. I just don't like it. And it's not that I'm a fanboy or anything. People know that by now. It's one guy just recently there on my channel. One guy, he came through and he was actually chastising me for Chris Colbert. That's my dude, Chris Colbert. Yeah, Chris Colbert was just he come in 155. He's a 135. He's a 130 pounder. Okay, these guys come in big. They come in big. All right, they're big dudes. Back in the day, 130 was 130. Guys came in like 135, 140 on fight night at most. You know what I mean? At most. Now dudes be coming in 20, 30 pounds heavier. You know what I mean? Um, so what I was saying is that the hate for Floyd, I don't get it. Okay? People always flame out and they always hating on him. His last fight against what's his name? Logan Paul. You know what I mean? Logan Paul. Dude, smoked Logan Paul, was beating him all around the ring. You know what people said? People said, oh, that was a poor performance. Floyd probably didn't like it because he didn't get him knocked out. He didn't knock out Logan Paul. I never understood this. Oh, it's anticlimactic. He didn't knock out Logan Paul. I'm like, what the? Man, he basically beat his ass from pillar to post. Logan Paul knew what to do. He clinched, which is a smart thing to do. Okay, he clinched. He used his jab where he could, but of course couldn't keep him at bay. Now they're going on Tank. I had clowns. We're talking about a really good fight Tank put on. Okay, very entertaining fight. Tank goes in there, takes his time, is careful, fights smart, gets the guy out of there, right? Because he don't know what to expect. You're going in there, the guy may have enough pop, you go and pressing the action, and then you get hit with something, really big, and because of that, you go in there and you do the right thing. They criticizing you for that. Come on, man, you gave him a KO. But I heard guys like Porter and these guys talking about how Tank was unsure of himself and blah blah blah. Yeah, okay. So Tank lost. I'll say he lost about 2 or 3 rounds, right, in the whole entire fight. All right, even when Tank was on the back foot, homeboy Mario Barrios, who's skilled. I told you he's skilled. He got good pivot work, got good angles, everything. He's a rhythm fighter, somewhat, a little bit, and he got good time and everything. But even then, he couldn't really catch Tank, right? Tank was staying below the shots. Tank was pivoting. When barriers keep on pivoting, he pivots too. Tank keep him off balance so he can plant the set. You can see Tank really know he got high boxing IQ. Now, the thing about it is, after all of that, I heard Sean Porter say some really dumb shit. Like, oh, it looked like he was in two minds. It looked like he wasn't in shape. What the fuck are you talking about, Sean? Tank was in great shape. You know why? There's a kid in there that pushed him. What's his name? He actually come from Baltimore. He's a Baltimore native as well. And just hold on. It's Bernard what boy? He signed with Mayweather Promotions. A young kid. You're gonna have to look out for him. He got dog everything. He got skills, dog everything. All right, that boy. What's his name? I forgot his name. He when his debut was just recently there, and he pushed Tank. And let me just say this: Tank was in great shape. Great shape. That's bullshit. Okay, Tank was taking his time. Floyd told him to slow down. Take your time. Tank was taking his time and picking his shots. Just K, what's up in the building? Smart thing to do when you get in your ass whooped. Now, dude, smother. That's right. You smother. You don't have to always clinch. You don't always have to clinch or tie up your opponent. What you do is you smother them. So if you know your opponent, there's a certain range at which your opponent is most effective. What you have to do is try and get either outside of that range or within that range. Sometimes trying to run away from them and go far away is actually working it in their favor because you're going to the end of their power. So you got to be smart enough to understand, oh, they're not really good at mid range. I need to stay right there. Okay, so sometimes it's not about smothering the guy in terms of clinching them. You just have to know what range they're most effective at. And you may have made a mistake, like with Devin Haney versus Jorge Linares. Devin Haney knew that Jorge Linares was a mid-range fighter, so Haney was either staying on the outside or he was staying deep in the pocket. Boxing Science says Tank spars middleweights. Yeah, I know. Not only middleweights, man. He fought a heavyweight and knocked him out. He knocked out a heavyweight. Tank punched like a mule. I remember Tank going on a program, right? The same program, I think it was a PBC program, which Deontay Wilder came on. Now Deontay Wilder, he hit the machine, the punching machine. He hit the punching machine with his left hand. Now he hit it with his left hand, and he hit it with the left hand, and he did like 927, right? Was the score, and Tank hit it with his left hand because Tank's a left-hander. He hit it with his left hand. He did 937 or something like 938. So Tank punches hella hard. He punches as hard as a heavyweight. They said that, and it's true. He does punch very hard. But then again, Tank is basically, when he's walking around or he's in the ring, he's like a small middleweight. Tank like a small middleweight. So, and he got all the speed and quickness of a super featherweight. So that's really ridiculous, you know. Um, the boxing scientist says he light heavyweight. Oh, I thought it was a heavyweight he knocked out. Okay, and Tank has fought guys as tall as 6'2", 6'2" guys. He's fought sparred. So Tank has fought all kinds of guys. And all you got to do, for those of you who don't know, look at Tank in the amateurs. Y'all gonna see some crazy shit. Tank is incredible. He was unbelievable as a little kid, and he's just kind of sharpening it up now and really building it up into a science. And Tank ain't no fucking Deontay Wilder. Okay, y'all don't put Deontay Wilder in the same sentence as Tank. Okay, Tank literally got supreme boxing skills. He got 300 and something amateur fights. Okay, Tank is not no joke. Tank was basically the mentor or guy who Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney and all them guys sparred to get experience. Okay, and now they try to get clout off of Tank. Teal can't fuck with Tank, and that's another thing I want to talk about. People say how Teofimo Lopez is a better fighter than Tank. Just because Teofimo Lopez is ranked higher than Tank in the lightweight division, meaning that because he beat Loma, he's the number one guy there. Don't mean that Teal is a better boxer than Tank. Tank's a much better boxer than Teofimo Lopez. And I'm gonna break it down real simple, real simple. Teal don't fight good going backwards. He get touch up too much because he don't mix his high guard with his shell. He tried to do everything off the shell. He also misjudges distance. That's why Nakatani gave him a hard time. Was hitting him those right hands, looping those right hands over his lead shoulder. Okay, he keep on getting tagged over his lead shoulder. You know, he doesn't know when to use the shell and how to use the shell in certain times. But he's really good as a bully. Like if he's walking you down stuff, he can keep the stick on you, set you up with counter punches and stuff like that. And he's very sharp. But going backwards, actually, he's more vulnerable. All right. Tank is not the same. Tank can fight you going backwards, forwards, in the pocket, deep in the pocket. That's another thing. Teofimo Lopez don't really infight. Tank can infight. He can fight at mid range. He can fight on the outside. All right. And he knows how to use the virtual distance like Canelo. But Tank got more. What's the word I'm looking for? Swag. Tank got more swag. Like he'll swivel. He'll use his head and swivel. He'll swivel and come in on you. He'll swivel and come in on you. You know, mesmerize you a little bit. And he got really explosive speed and power. I mean, very very sharp with his punches. Very accurate. You know. Um, so there's a lot to Tank, and just a lot. He got God gifted, and he got a lot of skill. He also knows why he's doing what he's doing. Tank that kind of dude. So the only problem with Tank at the time, I always used to talk about, was the fact that Tank didn't have the discipline. But now he got more focus, he got more discipline, and he just needs to maintain that and stay with that, and just keep on being in the gym all the time, because he used to have weight problems, and he's going to be he can still eat like how he eat, but the problem with it is he wasn't always training like he's supposed to, like train like they know tomorrow kind of thing. So he's staying in shape now. He's staying on weight. He's going back in the gym every single chance he gets. That's like Canelo, and he's on it now. So it's gonna be hard to beat Tank. Is a very difficult guy to beat, and that goes for Vasily Lomachenko. Anybody who comes up against Tank, he's gonna be a problem for everybody. But like I said before, there's a hate for Canelo and there's a hate for Floyd, and I never really quite got it. You know what I'm saying? I want to set the record straight on Canelo and Floyd. First of all, people say Canelo. Oh, they say Floyd is a cherry picker. Let's go with that. Boxing scientist says I think Teal would beat Tank. This is why PBC's not making that fight. PBC's afraid of Loma. I think Wilder will beat Fury this time. What do you think? Nah, I don't think Wilder's gonna beat Fury. Fury's gonna beat Wilder. Wilder might give Fury a better fight, but he's not gonna beat Fury. Anybody who thinks that Wilder's power is gonna be make the difference, it's not. Wilder's not a bad boxer. He's a decent boxer. He got good jab. He experiments with things. He got swivel and stuff. He learns quickly. But Fury just a different beast, man. Fury just a different animal. If Wilder had taken if Mayweather had provided advice for Wilder, that would be good. I know Mayweather helped out Anthony Joshua to some degree. So he gonna be in Joshua's camp and he's gonna be in Errol Spence camp. Sort of like not in camp, you know what I mean? Siding with them for their fights against their respective opponents. Whether it's Alexander Usyk or whoever it is. But when it comes to Wilder want to do it on his own. I'm sure he's getting good advice from different people, but it's like this, right? Wilder looking to try and set up Fury for a knockout. That's what he got to do. He's gonna try and get his feet moving. He's gonna try and stay behind the stick and stuff. But I ain't really see nothing from Wilder that tells me that he can beat Fury. I don't really see anything special from him. He's very athletic and all of that. He can move really quickly and sharp and fast, get into position. And Fury, cheater or no cheater, and Fury probably did cheat. Cheat or no cheat, drug doping or no drug doping, Fury is just the better boxer of the two. Much better. And, I don't see Wilder beating Fury, especially now, after all the events that happened. But you know what? I give Wilder mad props for wanting to go again, trying to have another go at it. So I give him mad props for that. But Fury gonna beat that ass. I'm sorry. He gonna get the W again, unless they rob him. Somehow he doesn't knock out Wilder, and I think he's gonna try and knock out Wilder again. He's gonna try and stop him. He's gonna stump him. That's what he want to do. He want to stump him this time. We'll see. Teofimo Lopez. And again, I have nothing against Wilder. I like him as a person. Um, I just think that Fury just all wrong for Wilder. That's what I'm just trying to say. Fury's just all wrong for Wilder. Wilder got to take like a couple of years to work his way up to try and beat a Fury. He's not gonna beat Fury. It's just not gonna happen. Never. You know who could beat Fury? Anthony Joshua might be able to beat Fury. He proved it to me. He showed me he could box. And I'm pretty sure Floyd had something to do with that. So if Floyd is anywhere near that and Floyd is betting on Joshua, like that's what you got to understand. If Floyd's backing you, he probably put his money on you. But if he don't put his money on you, then the only thing is some people feel Floyd two timing. He would say, "Oh man, I'm in your corner," but then he might fuck you over. That's what a lot of people are worried about. But I just never seen Floyd do that. The one thing about Floyd I know is Floyd give you good advice. He don't bullshit you, right? If he say he in your corner, he's in your corner. And Adrian Broner didn't work out because Adrian Broner wasn't listening to him. So good luck, Deontay Wilder. Clarissa Shields tried to give Wilder advice. He fucked her over as well. So I mean, he's on his own. I think he going. Well, I wish him the best. You know what I'm saying? Boxing Science says Usyk will beat Joshua. I don't think so. I don't think Usyk's gonna beat Joshua. And I'll explain to you why I think so. This is just my opinion, of course. Usyk's a hell of a fighter. But Usyk, like Lomachenko, they work on angles. So they like to turn you, turn you, turn you. All Joshua got to do is use the pivot. The pivot is the key in fights with guys like Usyk and those guys, the in and out fighters, the mid-range fighters. You got to be able to use the pivot. Usyk ain't gonna be sitting shoulder to shoulder with Joshua, in a caboose fighting him. Usyk don't do that. Usyk go in and out, and he pivot around you, right? He tried to go weak side on you and do his thing. I saw what Derek Chisora did to Usyk, and Derek Chisora was switch hitting on him. The only difference is Derek Chisora, and while he was having some of his way with Usyk, he was still getting hit, you know. And Usyk was trying to tee off as hard as he could with him, but it was having less of an effect on much bigger guys like heavyweights. Anthony Joshua is leagues better than Derek Chisora. Okay? Leagues better than Derek Chisora. And so Anthony Joshua is going to be able to handle Usyk. You know who else? Joe Joyce is another problem for Usyk. Now, y'all don't know, but Sean Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. Yeah, Porter beat Usyk in the amateurs. Okay? And from what I see, Derek Chisora is not the fastest dude in the world. Josh was much faster than Chisora. And Chisora was able to keep up with Usyk and really put on a hell of a performance against him. And I'm looking forward to another Chisora fight, by the way. I just don't think that Usyk should try to compete at heavyweight. I think the heavyweights, these heavyweights especially, are just too much for him. They're too big. They're too long. They're too big for him. And I just think he's biting off more than he can chew. But hey, he's daring to be great. So if he can pull it off and stay on his feet somehow, some way, he probably could beat Anthony Joshua. I don't see him really beating Anthony Joshua any other way. Yes, I know Joe Joyce lost to Usyk in the amateurs, in the Olympics, actually. But Joe Joyce is another tricky guy. Again, remember, time and beat speed. Time and beat speed. You saw Mario Barrios hold his own for a great majority of the fight against Tank, as much as Tank is very quick and fast and all of that shit. Mario Barrios was able to, because he was using his timing and his placement. Really great timing, good jab. And it's about timing. It's about understanding what your opponent brings to the table, the angles they want to come through at. Because as fast as you may be, you got to cut an angle. So if I take your angle away from you, now you still have to come straight at me. And all I can do is put up my guard and block whatever you have and then counter. So I catch and counter, I block and counter, and all of a sudden the fights change, right? We've seen slow guys like Julio Cesar Chavez take on really fast guys like Midrick Taylor and knock them out. Why? Time and beat speed, placement beat speed. I'm placing more impactful punches on you using my catch and shoot. So he would catch with the right hand and come back over with a right hand counter, right? Or sometimes he would use a right hand lead and just throw the right hand lead out of the clear blue sky, right? Timing, and catch Mildred Taylor. So the accumulation of punches on Mildred Taylor, yeah, Taylor was winning the fight. Yeah, Chavez was behind, but he was breaking him down. He was breaking down the building, body shots, lead rights all the time, all the straight. Instead of using the jab, he was using the lead right. Sometimes he'd interchange lead right jab, so Taylor don't know what's coming. And all the time while Taylor is, getting his in or thinking he's getting his in because Chavez be riding them punches and rolling those punches. While he think he getting his in, Chavez be countering. So he catch and shoot, catch and shoot, catch and shoot, and that's the trick. See, it's timing. Timing beats speed. Timing beats power. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to be smart in there. So it's always about the smarter fighter. Marquez was nowhere near the speed of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's hand speed is ridiculous. And while Marquez did work on his speed, Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao not because Marquez was faster than Pacquiao. Marquez did it because he set a trap for Pacquiao and had Pacquiao come to him. And that's how he was able to counter Pacquiao. Time and beat speed any day, any time of the week. Y'all know that. How you deal with a faster fighter, you be more accurate and you just be landing those punches. Mayweather versus Zab Judah. Zab Judah light years faster than Floyd. How'd he beat him? Timing, man. Timing. He walked him down. He would not take a step backwards. He knew he had to close the distance on this cat. Keep his hands up and close the distance, right? Timing beats the speed. So, I mean, just because a guy is gifted, and even if he's more skilled than you, if you do what you do and you're persistent with your game plan, it's all about game plan. If you persistent with your game, you could get a victory over that dude. It's very possible. So the problem with Usyk, I think he's just a little too small for heavyweight. He a small heavyweight, and he don't really got the pop. And it's not that he's not probably a superior boxer to a lot of the heavyweights out there. It's just who's gonna be the smarter guy in the ring. And Anthony Joshua is hella smart. He's a hella smart fighter. Derek Chisora, showed some things in there, some special skill sets that neutralized what Usyk was doing to some degree. And I'm pretty sure Anthony Joshua will watch that and say, okay. And Joshua likes to infight, so he'll surrender sometimes his height and reach to fight on the inside. Or if he wants to, he keep the stick on Usyk, keep the training gun, or as we say, keep the um, keep the sword facing Usyk at all times. And once you keep the sword, I mean, it's an easy fight from there. Usyk he got to find a way to get in the inside, And so it's all of those little tricks. I mean, there's so many ways to beat a mid-range fighter because that's what Usyk is. He's a mid-range fighter. He's not an outboxer. That's not what he. That's not his forte. He's not an infighter. That's not his forte. Joshua likes to infight, but in this case, he could do a little bit of infighting because Usyk don't really infight. That's not really his thing, and he can fight a little bit of outboxing. See, when a guy's a mid-range fighter, it makes for exciting fights. But the problem with it is they gotta find their preferred range, and that's the problem with Lomachenko and Usyk. Lomachenko and Usyk. I mean, Lomachenko can do a little bit of infighting, but Lomachenko and Usyk, they really mid-range fighters. That's where they succeed. The Ukrainian fighters and Eastern European fighters are mostly mid-range fighters. So you look at Dmitry Bivol, you look at Artur Beterbiev, you look at Alexander Usyk, you look at Vasily Lomachenko, you know, Shenchenko, you look at Zarameda, you look at what's the kid name? A really good fighter too. Forgot his name right now. They all those guys. Um, shit. He's with hold on. He's at 160. Charlo just recently fought him. Can't remember his name for nothing. Eastern European fighter. He fought Gennady Golovkin as well. Gave him hell. Gennady Golovkin's another one. You know, those are mid-range fighters. Canelo's a mid-range inside fighter. He could fight on the outside if he wanted to, but his forte is mid-range inside fighting. That's Canelo. So you have to understand what a fighter is. Like when you need to know styles, and once you know what the fighter brings to the table, now you can really intelligently or smartly deal with them. Because if you're dealing with an inside fighter, it's stupid to try to, as your strategy, um, try to fight him on the outside. Or if you're fighting him on the inside, you want to take a pause. You better know how to lock them up on the inside, take away some of their game, or disrupt their game, tie them up on the inside. See, that's what Kell Brook did to Sean Porter. Sean Porter's ain't a fighter. Joshua has problems with stamina. Usyk will tire Joshua. Nah, he don't have no problems with stamina. When he had those big muscles, he had problems with stamina. But he kind of dialed down on the muscle mass, so he's okay now. He can go 12 rounds easy. But I don't think a fight with Usyk would go 12. I think he'd stop Usyk late, but he would stop him. Again, it's just opinion, so I'm just saying, right? I think a lot of y'all underestimate Anthony Joshua. That boy worked his ass off. He's a really great fighter, but time will show. Um, so anyway, but what I'm saying is that Canelo, fucking phenomenal fighter. Uh, the thing with Canelo is people say how he used clenbuterol illegally and he looked like he was doping. Now I can't really prove without a shadow of a doubt that Canelo was is not doping. I cannot really prove it without a shadow of a doubt. But what I see, the evidence that I know, it doesn't look like that. And it looks like Canelo really tries his best utterly to show that he's a clean fighter. And he is enrolled in VADA, and hopefully he's being tested all the time. He should be tested 24/7, year round. So hopefully that's happening with Canelo. I hope he's not getting any extra favors from the WBC and Mauricio Subramanian. Um, and I hope they not just putting up a front, but the fighters are still doping. But as far as I do know, Canelo's a clean fighter. And that's why some people say, "Oh, he shouldn't be in the pound for pound list." But you can't deny exceptional fighters. Canelo is the best fighter in the world right now, and I'm hearing a lot of boxers acknowledge that. His colleagues are acknowledging it. Even though some of the fans, they be like hating ass fans. And some of these fans, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I'm gonna call a name, Dante's Boxing Nation. I like Dante. Okay, personally, I like Dante Boxing Nation. I go and listen to his stuff all the time. I Key Sports TV, I like him too. But particularly Dante's Boxing Nation been like he just had this special like dislike for Canelo for some reason. And sometimes Dante be saying some inaccurate shit, man. He be saying some inaccurate shit, and it be annoying to me. I'll be like, what you doing, Dante? Up to recently there, he said how he said something that just made no damn sense. Um, and I want to make this abundantly clear. Canelo don't duck and dodge. He doesn't have a history of ducking or dodging nobody. Okay, and I will explain. They say okay when it comes to Demetrius Andrade and uh, Jamal Charlo. Okay, we could say he could have faced him, but let's be real. Okay, let's be real about this, and let's put this in perspective. Okay, Canelo goes and faced the number one fighter in the world, Floyd Mayweather. He went and faced Austin Trout. He asked for Austin Trout. All right. Then he went and he faced Floyd Mayweather. Okay? He went and faced Floyd Mayweather. He got his ass beat, but he went and faced him. After that, he went and faced Erislandy Lara, and Erislandy Lara called him out. He said, make the fight. And he faced Erislandy Lara. This motherfucker don't duck or dodge nobody. The time with Gennady Golovkin was unreasonable. Canelo was still fighting at 155. Canelo weight, but he was fighting at 155. They wanted him to jump up all of a sudden and just take on Triple G. Because motherfuckers want to see him lose, okay? Motherfucker went up and fought Triple G, ladies and gentlemen. He fought Triple G. They say he's ducking Danny Jacobs. He went and fought Danny Jacobs. They still trying to say the Canelo cherry pick because he faced Rocky Fieldman before he faced Danny Jacobs. All right? Okay. In the meantime, motherfucking Triple G be fighting duds. He ain't fighting shit. Okay? The best fighter he had up to that time was Danny Jacobs. And Danny Jacobs damn near beat his ass. Okay? And everybody's praising Triple G. In the meantime, they're shitting on Canelo. Shitting on Canelo. And of the two, I said this way back in 2015. I said Canelo gonna beat Triple G whenever he faces him because he got the defense. And Triple G don't have that defense. I went on to say Canelo counterpunch the shit out of him, and jabs don't mean shit with Canelo. Canelo gonna handle his jab. And everything I said came to pass in the first fight. In the first, I'm not even talking about the second fight. The first fight, Canelo beat Triple G. Okay, let's go on. And they still have this stupid ass narrative. Now let's keep it moving. He beats Triple G twice. Not once, twice. He beats him. Okay? In that middle of that thing, we had the Clenbuterol fiasco. And Triple G was saying, look at him, he's dirty, whatever. And after Canelo gets suspended for no reason, Canelo's fuming mad because he's like, I'm a clean fighter. He maintains he's clean. Faces in the second fight, walks his ass down from round 1 to round 12, trying to knock his ass out, right? Triple G's tough. Managed to survive. People still saying that Canelo didn't beat Triple G in that fight. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with people? Then we go on. From there, he faces Danny Jacobs after Rocky Fielding. He faces Danny Jacobs on DAZN. Beats Danny Jacobs. He beats Danny Jacobs. Okay? They talking about, he just be facing over the hill old fighters. Okay, Danny Jacobs ain't old. Danny Jacobs became world champion and then faced Canelo. Arslan Andy wasn't old. Austin Trout wasn't old. Okay? These are not old fighters. Y'all could say Miguel Cotto was old, but he was at the top of his game. He was lineal fucking middleweight champion of the world. Y'all could say Floyd was old. But Floyd still whooped that ass. Y'all could even claim that Triple G was old. Triple G wasn't old, by the way. Just that he got an ass whooping from Danny Jacobs. That's what happened. Okay? He stepped up to the plate and realized A-list fighters are different to B-list fighters, okay? Y'all thought Triple G was going to mop the floor with Canelo the first fight. Y'all thought he was going to knock him out, beat him up. Didn't happen. Okay? Now Triple G's old. Just like the fucking Shane Mosley story. Shane Mosley goes and mop the floor with Antonio Margarito. Just came off of the win at 154, knocking out Ricardo Mayorga. Mops the floor with Margarito. We hear Larry Merchant hating ass say, I love Shane Mosley. Mosley can fight. Steps up to Floyd, and Floyd puts an ass whooping on his ass. Mosley's old now. Mosley's old. Excuses my ass. It wasn't old. Floyd made an adjustment after he hit him with that hard right hand. Floyd made an adjustment and took away what Mosley does best. Because he arcs a lot of shots and loops a lot of shots, and Floyd throw it straight down the pipe. Canelo wants to fight Beterbiev. Yeah, so I heard. Beterbiev or Bivol at 175. Yeah, I heard so. So people are now calling Canelo the European bum slayer because Canelo did not face Demetrius Andrade at 160 when he should have or could have, and also did not face Jamal Charlo. Instead, pretty much vacated the title and took on the franchise championship. Right? He did want to face Sergey Kovalev way before. What's the guy's name? Forgot what his name is. It begins with A. The European kid. I forgot what it was. The European kid. What the fuck is his name? Lions Only. Anyway, or not Lions Only. He's not Lions Only. That's Charles. But Lions. Something in the Lions. I forgot what his name is. He lost his most recent fight. I thought he won it, but whatever. He took on anyway. Sergey Kovalev before Canelo faced him. Well, Canelo wanted to face him before that fight, but the dude didn't want to step aside money, so Canelo had to face Sergey Kovalev after, and he wanted to face Sergey Kovalev, just like how he wanted to face Miguel Cotto, part of history. But anyway, Canelo, he faces him instead of Demetrius Andrade. Now, I personally believe Demetrius Andrade is a tougher fight for Canelo, but of course, Canelo going after legacy, Sergey Kovalev going up 175, pretty much like what Tank did, and beats Sergey Kovalev, stops him in the 10th round. Competitive fight, but you could tell that the momentum was all Canelo's, more composed and everything. He stops Sergey Kovalev, okay? Comes back down to 168, okay? And he fights The number one 168 pounder. Come on now. Yes, it was short notice, but the guy, he knew he was trying to get the fight long before, so he was training long before. Anyway, he takes him on. That's Callum Smith. He beats him. He beats him. Comprehensively beats him. He doesn't knock him out, but he beats him. All right? We get all this flack. Oh, Callum Smith, he really not that great. Blah, 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 blah. No, motherfucker. He was the number one light heavyweight in the world. You can't be bullshitting. You can't be on Monday telling me one thing and then on Tuesday telling me something else. You got to stay consistent. It was the number one light heavyweight in the world, Callum Smith. He's a bad boy. The problem with Callum Smith, he don't really fight on the inside. He a long fighter. Okay? That's why I always felt Charlo at the time wasn't developed enough in his game. He didn't have all-round game to deal with a Canelo. Because Canelo fight mid-range to inside. Okay? Like a James Toney. Right? My boy, David Benavidez, he's starting to develop his inside game. But he ain't got no fucking inside game. Canelo gonna mash you up. He's gonna destroy you. He's gonna destroy you. And David Benavidez is a tall, strong. He a big, strong guy. But goddamn it, I seen him against that Mayweather Promotions kid, and that Mayweather Promotions kid dropped his ass. Why? Because he pressing him on the inside with jab, get to the inside with the jab, and then work the body. Now I'm not saying that was a good fight for David Benavidez because he grew from it, but all I'm saying is David Benavidez, y'all calling him this monster and this monster and this monster. That motherfucker need experience first. Caleb Plant, same thing. Demetrius Andre, same thing. And I'm talking about at the top level. They need experience. That's why these guys need to face each other. Benavidez need to face Charlo, or Andre need to face Charlo. Benavidez should have faced Plant. Then the winner should have faced Canelo. That's how it should really have gone down. Because them guys need experience. Canelo way more experience than them dudes. You saw what he did to Billy Joe Saunders. That Saunders got a little bit of boxing in there. He did a little something, but by and large, Canelo was in control of that entire fight. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just showing y'all, I'm telling you the man's history, okay? So his last, okay, then he fought this, Canelo be fighting one good fight, and then he fight, a throwaway fight. And the throwaway fight was that dud. I forgot what the dude's name was. I've even forgot the guy's name. I think he's a Mexican fighter. I can't remember what the hell his name is. But then after that, he fights Billy Joe Saunders. Very good fighter. And Billy Joe Saunders, skill-wise, he should be able to hang with Canelo. The only thing, and I thought it was a 50-50 fight going in until I saw Billy Joe Saunders didn't show up for the face-off. And I said, this motherfucker going to get beat. Because mentally, he don't even think he could beat Canelo. So he goes in the ring, gives up like 4 or 5 rounds to Canelo. Finally springs to life. I think it was in round 5. He springs to life, realizing, motherfucker, I can get this motherfucker different looks. I can start boxing his ass. And he started boxing him. He started to get the confidence that he could stay in the ring and deal with this dude. But by then it was a little too late because Canelo had gotten the momentum. And Canelo just sees back the momentum in round 7 and round 8. And stopped him in round 8. Okay? Billy Joe didn't even believe he could beat Canelo. He didn't believe it. And you can't go in there with that attitude. He had the skills and abilities to beat Canelo, but he didn't go in there believing he could beat Canelo. And he got his ass beat. And he got his eye socket broke. And I hear this dude's retiring from boxing now. Which is sad, because he got a lot of ability. And from that learning experience with Canelo, he probably could apply that to his daily boxing career and beat a lot of other guys. But clearly, he's not made of that material. Let's talk a little bit more about Canelo. That's the last guy Canelo faced. You can't tell me that Billy Joe Saunders wasn't the number one 168 pounder in the division. Now, the number one guy is Caleb Plant. Okay? The other thing that David Benavidez lacks is discipline. Now, David Benavidez is very young, right? He's like, 24, 22, something like that. He's a young guy. And he's done a lot. And he's going to be a monster later on if he keeps on developing his game. But he got to develop all-around game. Got to have inside game, outside game, mid-range game. He got to have all kind of game. Okay? He got a lot of ability. But Can David Benavidez beat Canelo as we speak right now? No, no, he can't. Okay. Now people say Canelo ducks people. The only two people you could allegedly say that Canelo ducked, and you can't really say it, is Jamal Charlo, and Demetrius Andre, and even Jamel Charlo, the Charlo brothers and Demetrius Andre. And this is the reason why we would say that. We know the history with Golden Boy. Mel was promised to face Canelo, and that's why he signed, and he got his brothers to sign, and they did not. Golden Boy did not allow him. And then later on, Demetrius Andre was the WBO champion, and as soon as Demetrius Andre was stripped or he had to move up or whatever from his WBO title, Canelo went on to face the WBO champion. All right, we've seen that with David Benavidez as well, where Canelo just jump in and get that belt, from the WBC. I didn't really like it, but it is what it is. And then we seen Canelo do it with Jamel Charlo, where Jamel Charlo, twice with Demetrius Andre, because Demetrius Andre, Canelo was just one belt away from becoming an undisputed 160 pounder, and instead he jumped up to face Sergey Kovalev instead of facing Demetrius Andre, who was the WBO champion. And he also gave up the WBC title to Jamal Charlo instead, and just went on to never came back to 160. Right now, technically, you can't say that he ducked any of those guys because he didn't. All right, because one, he basically faced Sergey Kovalev, but we all know that really and truly, he's been saying shit about Demetrius Andrade and so on. How he's a terrible fighter and all this bullshit because he's not engaging Demetrius Andrade at all, right? So we know he's ducking Demetrius Andrade, and he's also ducking Jamal Charlo. Even though he's talking about fighting Jamal Charlo, he wants to fight Jamal Charlo. He don't want to fight Demetrius Andrade, okay? Because Demetrius Andrade got a difficult style, and that's the most difficult fight for Canelo. I'll be honest with you, Demetrius Andrade. Not to mention, Caleb Plant gonna be a difficult fight for Canelo. Canelo think he's gonna overpower Caleb Plant. Motherfucker, no. You ain't stopping Caleb Plant. You not knocking out Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant gonna give you horrors. He gonna give you problems. Okay, he may not have the experience, but he's gonna give you problems. I promise you guys this: if this fight happens with Caleb Plant gonna show y'all why he's called White Sugar. Okay, motherfucker is going to deal with Canelo. Okay, he might win the fight, but he's gonna deal with him. All right, watch and you'll see. So Canelo's gonna have his hands full. That's a dangerous fighter, Caleb Plant. And this is just all going to show that if Caleb Plant was to face David Benavidez, he beat him. That's one guy that would beat David Benavidez. So this is actually a good fight for Caleb Plant because if he gets past Canelo or even beats Canelo, I guarantee you he'll beat David Benavidez. Because David Benavidez is on no way on the level of a Canelo. Okay? I don't think he's going to beat Canelo. I just don't think so. I think Canelo's got too many tricks up his sleeve and just too many wrinkles for him to beat him. Just too much experience. But he gives Canelo a good fight, like how Danny Jacobs did, like how Erislandy Lara did, you know. And that's going to carry his stock way up in the sky. And he can realize I belong up here and I can beat these guys. Okay? So I believe, I just hoping they make the fight happen so Caleb Plant can get his shine in the sun and everybody can see how good he really is. I think Caleb Plant can do it. I think he got everything to beat Canelo. I don't think he's going to beat him because Canelo's going to use experience and cleverness to get the W. But I'm going to tell you this. Caleb Plant's a problem. And y'all going to see it on display. I hope he shines brightly. So, and that's just respect to the PBC right there because they got a lot of skill and a lot of talent on their side. I'm disappointed that Caleb Plant did not get to face David Benavidez because I do believe if he could sharpen his tools against David Benavidez, I definitely could handle Canelo. I mean, he would get the W without a doubt. But he's not facing David Benavidez next, which is sad. He's going to face Canelo next. I hope they get that fight because that's an opportunity of a lifetime in which, man, if you get a win over Canelo, that's huge. So he should jump for it. He should have enough time. Al's going to negotiate the best possible negotiation possible and so we can get a fair fight. So that's the whole thing. Hopefully drug testing is there and everything's on the table because this is for all the belts. And if I was Caleb Plant, I'd jump at the opportunity right now. It's the best time. Because Canelo is beatable. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see anybody beating him right now. So the next thing I heard was Eddie Hearn was talking about Canelo wanting to take on Artur Beterbiev. Okay, that don't sound like no fucking ducker. You want to face Beterbiev, motherfucker? You want to face Beterbiev? Beterbiev? Beterbiev is strong as fuck. Okay, if Beterbiev gets you in a clinch, he gonna beat your ass while you're in the clinch. He pounding you. He don't. He don't just be in a clinch. He rough you up. He throw you down on the ground and stuff. He's strong as fuck. Beterbiev is a totally different kind of guy. I'm letting y'all know. Beterbiev beat up guys while in a clinch. Okay, he mugs you. He's a mauling, mugging kind of guy. He's mid range. Good boxing skills. Can box off the back of the front foot. Not the fastest guy in the world. Again, depends on timing, placement, and breaking you down. Right? Got heavy hands. Okay. Canelo versus Beterbiev. I'm gonna have mad respect for Canelo because I know Canelo can beat Beterbiev. I know he can beat him. I'm not worried about that. My thing is to take on that. That's physical abuse you're taking to your body. Okay, you come out of a Beterbiev fight. That's like going out. That's coming out of my Maidana fight for Floyd. You're gonna take some. You're gonna take some damage. You're gonna take some knocks. Beterbiev was a heavyweight that came down to light heavyweight. Okay, Beterbiev is strong as fuck. The strongest fighter in that fight will not be Canelo. It will be Beterbiev. Okay. Once Canelo can respect those things, respect his strengths, respect the side that he's kind of rough and rugged around the edges, then he can fight Beterbiev. You got to understand what it is you're coming up against first. Canelo has all the skills in the world to make the adjustments to Beterbiev. When you're fighting on the inside, make sure he doesn't grapple you. All right? You got to go in and out, and you have to turn him. But again, you stay calm. Canelo is going to have the quickness advantage. Same, the boxing IQ, he's going to be on the side. The experience is going to be on the side. Use those things to your advantage. I wouldn't be surprised. Somewhere around the later rounds, Canelo's walking down Beterbiev, And not to say that Beterbiev can't fight off the back foot, because he can, but it's the tempo of the fight. If, for instance, Canelo decides to take the tempo up or take the tempo down to make it uncomfortable for Beterbiev. Because the other thing is, you gotta change the pace of the fight to make your opponent uncomfortable. In boxing, it's all about being smart. Okay? So you want to work at a tempo and a pace. You also want to be unpredictable, meaning you want to throw punches that Beterbiev he don't expect to get hit with. And he gets hit with those. Now he can take a shot, but he can't take a shot that he's not braced for. You can buckle Beterbiev. You can buckle any fighter. You can buckle the strongest fighter in the world if you hit him an untelegraphed, on time, for him, on time shot. Because there are certain combinations that boxers throw. It makes them expect another combination. But when you throw an unorthodox combination, or you punch a shot that the guy didn't expect you to hit, that's when you start to make them hesitate. And once Beterbiev starts to hesitate, that's where Canelo got him. See, that's how you control the fight. Okay? And that's what Canelo can make the fight real easy for himself. He's fought a guy something like Beterbiev, strong as fuck, Triple G. So he been down that road before. My dude, the boxing scientist, says the zone cut Canelo contract because he was taking too many soft touches. Yet he did another contract with the zone. Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather because he was smaller than him. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't it. He wanted to be great. He wanted to fight the best that was out there. That was the truth. It wasn't because Floyd was smaller than him. Floyd was the greatest boxer of the time. And Canelo wanted to share the ring with him. If you look at Canelo, he don't even care about your size. I mean, Sergey Kovalev, much bigger than him. But he wanted to face Sergey. He wanted to get that legacy. He wanted to get that experience. So what Canelo was doing was developing, collecting data. Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara. He's looking at these guys and who they fought. And he's saying, this is a great legacy to be a part of. win, lose, or draw. So that's what he was doing. When he fought Shane Mosley was pretty much at the end of his game, but Shane Mosley put on a hell of a fight with Canelo. And again, to get that experience, because when you fight somebody, you learn so much after the fight. And to fight the best out there, that's what you want to do. That's what any young fighter wants to do, and that's what Canelo got the opportunity to do. So he got to taste Floyd, he got to taste Erislandy Lara, he got to taste Miguel Cotto, he got to taste Gennady Golovkin, he got to taste Johnny Jacobs. These guys all have legacies, okay? Sergey Kovalev has a legacy. Now you got these young bucks coming up. They're going to get a legacy of Canelo. No matter win, lose, or draw, Billy Joe Saunders can say, hey, yo, man, I fought Canelo. All right? I fought Canelo. So, I mean, that's a big, big thing to say you fought Canelo, because anytime people now, whether it's, interviewers or media come, they're going to come to you and say, well, how was Canelo like? What was Canelo like? You part of that legacy. You can't pay for that. And plus, you get paid for it. Are you kidding me? That's the biggest payday out there. So, I mean, Canelo built his legacy that way. Golden Boy and Canelo built that legacy. And now Canelo's going after legacy again. If he fights Artur Beterbiev at 175, that's some crazy ass shit. Let's be real. This dude came up from 154. Now, that's stuff like James Toney talking. That's like Roy Jones Jr. kind of shit. That's kind of like, Bernard Hopkins kind of shit. That's some crazy legacy shit. Okay? And you have to look at that and be like, damn, this motherfucker went up to 175 and fought Beterbiev and Bivol. These are young, strong guys. But you can't say nothing. You can't say he was ducking Charlo. And you see, you can't say that, really. You can't say he ducking Charlo and Andre. Right? Now, but you can at the same time. You can say that because you've seen him and you've seen what he said. And it's like he don't want to fight them guys. Now, is it that Andre is a difficult fight for Canelo? It's much more difficult fight than, say, I know this sounds weird, but it's going to be a much more difficult fight than Beterbiev. Beterbiev is strong as fuck. Canelo's fought strong as fuck fighters. Okay? Right? He fought Triple G when he was coming up in weight to face Triple G. He's fought strong as fuck fighters. And the thing with Canelo is he has defense. So a Beterbiev or even a Bivol, who's again a mid-range fighter, they're good fighters. They're great what they do, but they're not going to do that to Canelo. See, Canelo can deal with those things. But when you face an all-around fighter can do it all, Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andre, they could do it all. And now Charlo's starting to develop his inside game. So, Charlo's looking better and better as we go along. And even Benavidez is starting to develop some inside game and some mid-range game. Good body puncher. Those guys, as time progresses, the longer it takes, the more established those guys get, the better those fights become for Canelo. Because Canelo's like, yeah, this guy, okay, he put this guy on his resume. He put this guy. Lil B Hop was saying something that made sense. Lil B Hop said, when they asked him, well, Javante, you think Javante will face you? Lil B Hop was like, I'm not high profile enough for that. I don't got a resume to make me somebody that, Davis will want to face. And that makes so much sense. And that's the same thing Canelo been saying all along. And y'all be like, oh, he ducking this dude. Oh, he afraid to face him. It's not he afraid to face this dude. He wants those guys that's his future opponent. He's seeing ching, ching, ching. He's seeing ching, 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 ching. When these guys establish themselves. So Canelo's like, let's let these guys build themselves up a little bit more so their stock could go up even more. And then I'll face them, because otherwise I ain't going to make a whole set of money facing these young bucks. And they lose, and then they say, oh, Canelo need to face Beterbiev and Bivol. I might as well just go face Beterbiev and Bivol and let these guys develop, because they really got skills and talents and promise. And I wish people would understand that, but this is the sport of boxing, and MMA kind of spoil boxing, because MMA, you get the matchups you want to see one time. And I get it. I get where Canelo's coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, fight these motherfuckers already. Fight them. And make money. Your stock's going to go up. You're going to have more money. You're going to be more of the draw. You're going to be more of the A side. You're going to get more to dictate what you want to do if you fight those guys right now. And that's where I think a lot of you guys are coming from and saying he's ducking these guys, he's ducking these guys. But Canelo ain't duck or dodge nobody when you really think about it. It's just some fuckery from the WBC. The WBC been fucking up everything. you know. And it was Golden Boy fucking up Canelo at one point in time because he wanted to be undisputed. I really wish he had faced Demetrius Andrade. You know, Demetrius Andrade was more green back then. It would have been he increased his chances of beating him. But every day that Canelo does not face Demetrius Andrade, Andrade just gets better. So I just think that is a dumb thing to do. But maybe he wants to really get a legacy, a guy legacy like Andre's legacy, whatever. Or he just don't want to face Andre. He's like, man, that's too much headache and worries. Whatever it is, that's the only thing that bugs him. But when you think about it, you know, people go in on Canelo because of Andre or because of Charlo, which he's gonna face Charlo. That I'm certain about. But because of Charlo or because of Benavidez, you know, you guys are naming them. You notice he's plucking these guys off the list, by the way, one by one. He took Billy Joe Saunders out of the equation. Now he's going to take Caleb Plant out of the equation. Then he's going to go for, you're saying BDBF or Bivol. But my thing is, he wants to work with DAZN more than anything else. Yeah, he won't face Andre. You know, it's some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Andre is a boring fighter. And I hear Charlo saying the same shit. That's not true at all. His last fight was a knockout. Andre ain't boring. Fuck out of here with that shit. But you know Canelo. Anyways, man, let me see what you guys be saying. So the Boxing Insider says, yeah, Canelo's on a European tour. Y'all be clowning the guy. He be fighting a lot of Europeans though. The Boxing Insider says no, he wasn't the number one 168 pounder. Callum Smith, yes he was. Yes he was. Yes he was. David was number one. Nope, David was not. The Boxing Insider says Canelo ducked David. No, he hasn't ducked David's name hasn't even come up. David even said it. He said Canelo hasn't even mentioned it. You know what I'm saying? What Canelo said was, I'm never gonna fight a Mexican or some shit like that, which is some bullshit again. It's some bullshit to say. Um, David would beat Canelo with output. No. But he's getting better though. He's getting better. He's getting better. David's getting better. David's fucking young though. He's super young. So he got lots of potential. And you know, I would love to see Canelo versus David a little bit later on in the career when David gets a little bit more experience. The Boxing Insider says Canelo was turning down fights DAZN was presented to Canelo. I wouldn't be surprised. Canelo ducked Andre, Ward, Boo Boo, Andrade, and Charlo. Andrade is Boo Boo. Oh, Boo Boo Andrade. Okay. He did not duck Andre Ward. Are you fucking crazy? He never ducked Andre Ward. He's never ducked Andre Ward. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Andre Ward was retired. Andre Ward is retired. What are you talking about? You could claim that he ducked Boo Boo Andrade in the sense that twice Andrade was there, available, and when Andre left, for example, when Andre left 154, that's when Canelo fought for the 154 title. It doesn't mean he ducked him, by the way. I mean, he did it as convenience anyway, because Canelo was at 168 at the time. Well, sort of. And he was the lineal champion of it. And he went and fought, I believe, Callum Smith's younger brother, Liam Smith, for the 154 title to show that, hey, man, I'm not a 160 pounder yet. Then he went and fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at 164 and a half or something like that. And to get up the strength to face Triple G, and then he went and faced Triple G. Okay? So when they talk about Andre, see, okay, let me put it to you guys this way. They talking about the Charlos, right? Think about this, right? Jamel and Jamal Charlo very recently became 154 champions. At this time, Canelo's still in the division. He's fighting at 155. But Canelo fights the number one 154 pounder in the division, which was Eris Landy Lara. At the time, the Charlos and Lara were in the same gym with the same trainer. Okay? Listen to me carefully. It was Ronnie Shields, right? Ronnie Shields' gym. But the Charlos, it was under Lara. They was all praising Lara and talking about Lara is the greatest thing ever. And they were learning off of Lara. Canelo fought Lara, beat Lara. What the fuck is he doing fighting the Charlos, right? So, I mean, if you put it in context, and that's the thing with a lot of people don't put things in context. Canelo was way past these dudes. What was the Charlos going to do to Canelo? Oh, they was going to beat Canelo. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. That wasn't gonna happen. And we all know this. They became newly formed champions after Canelo had beat Erislandy Lara. And then Canelo went on to face James Kirkland, I think it was, or something like that. And then he fought Miguel Cotto. Okay? Kirkland obviously was overweight. We don't even think about a Kirkland fight. I don't even talk about a Kirkland fight. You know why? Kirkland was out of weight and out of shape, but Kirkland was a name, so Canelo wanted to always face Kirkland, but that was a stay busy fight, okay? Anguilla was a stay busy fight. And Anguilla beat just recently there Peter Quillen. He showed a little something. You know, and he also was a guy that knocked out Gabe Rosado, right? And you know, the dog was known as El Perro and all of that, but it got busted eye from Erislandy Lara, dropped Erislandy Lara twice in his fight before the Canelo fight, right? But my thing anyway is this. I don't talk about those fights. To me, those are stay busy fights. And that's really ridiculous because those are top tier fights to some degree. I would know names. But those are stay busy fights. I don't even talk about that. Okay? That don't mean that Canelo's cherry picking. He has a tough fight and then he has a stay busy fight. That's how Canelo used to roll. And he still rolls like that to this day. Kind of like better than Julio Cesar Chavez, because Julio Cesar Chavez actually used to go back to Mexico and fight a dud. He didn't even give a fuck. Some of the fights weren't even sanctioned. That's terrible. But Canelo, you know, that's the kind of Mexican tradition. He do that. So when I see Canelo, when I look at the fight that he faced Erislandy Lara, it's like, yeah, okay, but Lara better than Charlos at the time. He was better than Charlos and Andre just won a title, I think it was, something like that. Now, Canelo was a contemporary of those guys, but he had way more fucking experience than all of them. He'd been champion way longer than all of them. In a way, it would have been an unfair fight. He would have just gone through those guys, probably beaten them, you know, because those guys was fighting up with each other. You know, Vanes Martirosyan and all these guys was up in the mix at the time, if you guys remember. And I remember Vanes Martirosyan knocking down Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade kind of fighting up and struggling with Vanes Martirosyan. I think they had a rematch and everything. I think Lara struggled with Vanes Martirosyan as well. Okay. Castellano beat Lara. Okay. What's the kid's name? The Mexican kid who became champion. I think he beat, who did he beat? I think he beat K9 Bondridge. No, K9 Bondridge beat him. And I think he beat, I forgot the guys and names, man. But my point anyway is that Carlos Molina also beat Erislandy Lara. Carlos Molina, who never gets to shine, but he was a bad motherfucker. Carlos Molina and Brian Castaño, I thought they beat Erislandy Lara, but they gave them draws. But that was a win, in my opinion, because these guys were not A-side fighters. They were B-side fighters all the way through their careers. You know, Carlos Molina was a hell of a fighter. Nobody talks about him much, but I remember him. Anyways, so Canelo, if we do remember, if we really put this in perspective, they're talking about, oh, he ducked this guy, ducked that. He didn't duck shit. He faced the best. Listen, man, let's look at the guys that Canelo faced. I'm talking about the very best. And then y'all change the goalposts and say, oh, no, he wasn't the best. Bullshit. All right? This motherfucker faced Austin Trout. Okay? After he got Austin Trout, and Austin Trout had beaten Miguel Cotto. Okay, he beat Miguel Cotto. What they say? They said, oh, Austin Trout actually won that fight. How the fuck you gonna win a fight and you got dropped and you can't even hit the dude clean? And he been beating your ass in the earlier rounds. So it's kind of tight, and then he dropped your ass, and then after that. I'm just saying, Austin Trout did not beat Canelo. Now, the judges' scoring was fucked up. It was way wide. But Austin Trout didn't beat Canelo. Y'all mad because of the judges' decision in Texas with the open scoring. Remember it was open scoring? I get it. But other than that, a lot of y'all say Erislandy beat Canelo. Oh, he dominated him in the first 3 rounds, but then Canelo made some adjustments, went to that body, and Canelo took that fight. Yes, it was by a close margin. I thought I had him pegged by about 2 rounds or so, 7-5, something like that. It was a close fight. But at the end of the day, because Canelo had to come from behind it to get the W, right? At the end of the day, he beat Erislandy Lara. Honestly, he did. He beat him.
And Lara's posturing like he won the fight. You didn't win no fucking shit, Arislandi Lara. And you know this. So if he could beat Arislandi Lara, why wouldn't he beat the Charlo brothers, who at the time, they was praising Arislandi Lara. He was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't understand. Arislandi Lara was the number one guy at the time. So after Floyd, who was the number one guy at the time, he fought Arislandi Lara after Alfredo Angulo, who was the number one guy. How many fucking times did he have to face the number one guy and beat him? How many times before you guys realized this guy was the real deal? Canelo the real deal. Triple G be fighting fucking duds. Duds. Y'all give him praise because he got this excuse. Oh, they ducking me. And okay, Sergio Martinez didn't face him. Miguel Cotto didn't face him, so you could say that. But at the end of the day, we had Arislandi Lara who wanted to face you. You called out Andre Ward. Andre Ward said, "What's up?" And you didn't want to face him. you have Demetrius Andre was called. Well, you old now, so I'm gonna give him a pass. I'm gonna give Triple G a pass now. He old as hell. He got a title though, so either get the fuck out of the way and let these young guns do what they do. Because you're trying to get payday with Canelo still, but you don't want to move out your weight class. You're gonna either have to let these young guns do what they do, and you just retire from the sport, surrender the title. You know what I'm saying? Just surrender the title. But Triple G, I would not go in on Triple G right now at this time in the game because he's old. 39 years old, almost 40. He's old, so I can give him the excuse, hey, you too old to fight these young guns now. You can, but honestly, he was offered Demetrius Andrews, and again, motherfucker be ducked. Everybody's ducking Demetrius Andrews, including Charlo. All right, they all ducking his ass. Charlo's ducking David Benavidez. He called out David Benavidez. Well, he can't really say duck again because he's not really in the same weight class. But nonetheless, he called out David Benavidez. David Benavidez is like, "What's up, man? Let's make it happen." Right? David Benavidez is like, "What's up, man? Let's make it happen." Motherfucking Charlo starts talking about COVID and vaccines and all kinds of bullshit. We know Charlo not really up for that because David Benavidez obviously he's hungry, right? He wants the best fights possible. He wants to face everybody. Canelo, everybody, right? When you're young and you're hungry, you try to make a name for yourself in the game. Obviously, that's how it's going to be. All right? Yes, Triple G has the IBF world title, my friend. He's the IBF champion. Forgot he fought, what's the guy's name? Dimitri. I can't remember his name right now. And beat him. Technically beat him. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So, you know, Canelo been whooping ass for the longest while, man. If y'all don't realize this dude needed to get his credit that he deserves, right? Yeah, okay, we could say, I'm gonna go there. I would say we could say that Canelo, you know, technically ducked Charlo and Demetrius Andrews. We can say that technically right now. But if he faces them, then we can't say that. A duck is when you don't even face the guy ever. So if he faces them down the road, when they're going to be better than they are right now, clearly, then you can't say shit. Just like with Triple G. Oh, Canelo ducked Triple G. He gave up the belt. Yeah, but he went and faced him and beat his ass twice. Notice I said twice. I didn't say once. I didn't say 0 times. I said twice. Okay? He beat his ass twice. He beat his ass 2 different ways, too. He beat his ass on the back foot, and then he beat his ass on the front foot. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of bullshit and disrespectful to be saying these things about Canelo because people just hate him. They hate him. And the whole point behind it is I feel that they feel like he's getting favored with decisions in fights. That's what it appears like. And I'm not going to lie, some of the judging is atrocious. some of the judging is like it makes you go, what? I didn't see that. That was a close fight. You know, but other than that, I mean, and Canelo now, he be knocking out fools because he's like, this ain't even going to the cards, motherfucker. I'm gonna either beat your ass so bad that they're gonna have to say, I'm gonna shut your ass out or I'm gonna knock you out. So they can't even say nothing about the judges. Cause a lot of hate. And then especially where Canelo beat Triple G, the beloved Triple G, HBO's future, you know, Larry Merchant and what the fuck is the other guy's name? Um, and Jim Lampley's favorite fighter. Man, fuck out of here. Beat Triple G's ass twice. You know what I'm saying? I like Canelo, man. I like Canelo. He's a killer. But yet at the same time, he's smart. He's a smart fighter, you know. And say what you want about him, he's dominating the sport right now. He's dominating it. I want to see him face Demetrius Sanders, and I definitely would love to see him face H. Harlow. I don't care which one it is. Of course, I would like to see that. I would also like to see him face some of the 175 pounders if he can dominate there. And there's always going to be new fighters coming up, of course. But I like that he don't want to just feed off new fighters or new undefeated fighters and that kind of bullshit that Triple G and these guys marketing. Because just because a guy's undefeated or young or in his prime doesn't mean he's experienced. Doesn't mean he understands everything, that he has his game all together. He could be skilled and everything, but just the experience, that veteran experience, you can fuck him up real bad. You know what I mean? People don't understand that, how boxing has evolved as a sport. They just don't get it. Peter BF would stop Canelo. That's bruh. Let me break something down to you. Boxing scientists, I like you. There's no fucking way in hell Peter BF is stopping Canelo. He's got defense. The boy got defense. What do you guys not understand about defense? Defense affords you could go up to 175, you could go up to heavyweight if you got good defense. Defense. Listen to me carefully. Defense wins you fights. And the boy got defense. That's the thing that makes the difference. Canelo learned a lot. And he was always that kind of fighter. He was a defensive fighter. Floyd had seen him from some way back and was like, Oscar, man, you got a gem right there. Right? If Floyd get Canelo, boy, oh shit. Oh shit. But it ain't gonna happen. Canelo's his own boss now. But Canelo be watching Floyd's tapes like motherfucking religiously. He been learning shit off of Floyd. Don't get it twisted. If you look at Canelo, I always said it. And I'll always keep saying it. Canelo's a bigger Floyd. He's slower. You know. He's less God-gifted, but he's very systematic in how that his trainer, the Reynosos, are teaching him boxing. Every day this man is learning something new in boxing. On top of that, he's keeping the repetitions going. Canelo is a whole different level of fucking fighter to all the fighters today. There are some really gifted fighters like Tank. But even Tank doesn't have all the facets that Canelo has right now. And Canelo's added facets, not just from Floyd, but from Sugar Ray Robinson and from all these motherfuckers. Techniques and skills. Okay? Canelo on a whole different fucking level to a lot of fighters today. All right? No disrespect to nobody, but I'm just saying, from a boxing perspective, this is what I see. Okay? He's special. So, obviously, he wants to get an opponent where they can get a lot of pay-per-view and a lot of money off of. They want the tremendously big fights. Okay? But BDBF is not stopping Canelo. I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to break it down. I'm trying to break it down for you guys. Bitter BF, you got to know he's super strong. He got good boxing fundamentals. But that's it. And he got decent timing. But that's it. He's a mid-range fighter, not an inside fighter. He rough you up on the inside though, but he's not an inside fighter. Once you understand what you're facing, you can form a game plan to deal with that. And Canelo's a cool customer, and he's way quick. His sharpness and his quickness, he knows how to use that to his advantage. And with the kind of footwork he has, y'all will see how interesting that fight would be. He'd pick him apart, man. He'd pick him apart and crash him at certain points, pick him apart. He'd have Bitter be after bully, be walking on the back foot, boxing off the back foot. He'd have him boxing him off the back foot, walking him down. In the late rounds, not in the early rounds. In the early rounds, you're going to have to be careful. But no big set of movement. Just these small steps, small angles, virtual distancing. Trick him to go down the wrong line. Counter punch his ass. Light him up like a Christmas tree, and then just chill again and set him. I tell you, you gotta be a fucking serpent. You gotta be a snake. You gotta be set with these motherfuckers. You gotta light them up, and then they'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck did I just get myself into? I thought I had this motherfucker." That's what you gotta do. It's boxing. Oh my God. I wish I could download all I know to you guys. Boo Boo's supposed to fight Triple G, says the boxing scientist. Yeah, man. That would be good. But I don't think Triple G is going to take that fight. The boxing scientist says, I'm sorry, you're right. Triple G ducked Andre Ward. Yeah, Triple G. Triple G ducked Ward. Canelo ducked Charlo and Andre. And pick up David Benavidez' belt. You better give David Benavidez a fight for that. I mean, it is David Benavidez' fault, but he's the real guy to do that, Not the bacon title. Don't pick up no fucking bacon title, man. Triple G did that shit to you. You should know better than Canelo. I got my critiques of Canelo, but, I try to keep it righteous and fair, you know what I mean? That's the same. Holy Inferno, what's up? Completely right. Triple G needs to vacate if he's not fighting Andre or Charlo. Yeah, man. I mean, I like Triple G in the sense that this brother came from absolutely nobody knew about him, made a sensational name for himself, was knocking out every single fool out there. They made him into a monster. He was looking great. B-level fighters, C-level, D-level fighters. That's all he could feed off of for a while. Got his big break with David Lemieux, and really was able to showcase some shit. I guess a guy that could hurt him, you know what I mean? And I'm happy for Triple G. He had a good career and everything, but you can't be holding the IBF title hostage, man. You can't be holding it hostage and just fighting, just defending that title. That's stupid, man. Let guys like young guns coming up, But the thing about it is, I do think that we got a dude that's lining up to face Triple G or to face Demetrius Andrew. And that's Golden Boy. I forgot what the kid's name is. He was the 154 champion. He just recently fought. He got a guy to retire. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But he might face Triple G. So that could be an okay fight. Triple G has 2 world titles. No, he only got one, the IBF. He got the IBO, but I don't count that as a world title. Charlo's the reason why I can't be a boxer on the world stage. I would catch a body on Charlo for ducking. Playing with my money, legacy, wasting my prime. What you talking about, bro? Both Charlos are motherfucking bad motherfuckers. It's just that Charlo, the bigger Charlo, Jamal, he be talking shit of late. He be talking a whole bunch of shit. I don't even understand what he's talking about. Like, he talking about facing David Benavidez. Come on, man. David Benavidez is another weight class to you, Jamal. He'll beat your ass. And you know this. You just be talking out your ass sometimes. You got to get acclimatized to the weight first before you can even talk about facing David Benavidez. Both of y'all is long-range fighters, right? Both of y'all is counterpunchers. David Benavidez is more active. He going to beat you. He's used to the weight class, and he throws more punches. You can get beat. For now, I think. I don't know if you'd stop him. I don't think he'd stop Charlo, but he would beat him. I mean, I think I might be wrong. I might be wrong. Charlo might surprise me and snipe him, and really put a hurting on him because Charlo's very sharp and his all-around game is starting to develop. I really like how he's doing more inside work. I like his last opponent. I thought he did really good in that fight. So I mean, Jamal is a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. Um, I just don't think he can fuck with David Benavidez and Canelo right now. That's the honest truth. He's just too small for them. Because all things being equal, it'd be kind of like a sort of equal playing field, except that Jamal wouldn't have acclimatized to 168. I would at least give him one fight at 168 before I put him in there with those guys, and then they probably hang and be 50-50 fight there. Canelo definitely ducked Andre. Yeah, we know. He had 3 belts, needed one more to be undisputed. He goes up to a subdivision full of green fighters, but no one's doing what Canelo's doing so far. What's fair is fair. Well, I wouldn't say the fighters are green. They're not green. They're world champions or been world champions. Billy Joe Saunders was definitely not a green fighter. He's a contemporary of Canelo. It's just that at 168, you know, you don't have the kind of fighters that you have at 160. So at like a 160, got much. Now, David Benavidez is a 2-time world champion. So is Demetrius Andrade. So is Charlo. So those guys, those 3, are probably the most experienced guys. Caleb Plant, he's a world champion as well. He's probably the youngest of. He's probably the greenest of them, the most inexperienced of them. But that motherfucker can fight. That motherfucker can box. Okay, it really can box his socks off. So Canelo ain't walking through. I'm telling you, he's not walking through Caleb Plant. That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a good fight. I hope it's at the end of this year. And Canelo's gonna have to earn it. I'm telling you, man, Caleb Plant ain't no joke. Y'all gonna see. I just wish he had faced David Benavidez first and beat him because I think Caleb Plant beats David Benavidez. That's how good I think Caleb Plant is. I think he beats David Benavidez. And if he had beaten David Benavidez, I definitely hands down would have said he would have beaten Canelo straight up. But as it is right now, he's got the skill, he's got the ability, got mad skill, got mad ability. He understands angles very well. Canelo too, but I mean, Caleb got the style to really give Canelo a whole bunch of trouble. He's confident. He does it right. He takes care of his body. Fucking Caleb Plant's going to do. I'm telling you, man. Fucking Caleb Plant's going to give a hell of a fight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a tactical fight sometimes, not a lot of action. Canelo's going to be missing a lot of shots. Y'all going to see. Y'all going to see. Because Caleb can fight off the back foot all day of the week. Okay? He can fight off the front foot. Right? So y'all going to see the difference. And Caleb Plant's more like Floyd Mayweather than Erislandy Lara is. Erislandy Lara moved his feet too much. He walk around the ring, move around. At least the style that Canelo, when Canelo faced him, he obviously can also fight in the pocket and all that. Erislandy's actually a lot more versatile than I thought. But Caleb can stay in the pocket and ride a lot of those shots and roll a lot of those shots that Canelo be throwing. Okay? When Caleb's, I bet you this. I bet you Caleb be walking down Canelo for a little bit of the fight. He gonna press Canelo to corners in that fight. Y'all gonna be surprised. And Canelo's mad skilled. But I'm telling you, man, he limited to a certain degree. All right, and if Caleb Plant can keep him at the end of his stick, or at least get the stick in, he got to thread the needle. I call it threading the needle. Once he gets that stick in, once he gets the first jab in on Canelo, okay, now y'all gonna see what the fight's about. And it's just his inexperience and little mistakes he might make, which I think going to determine that Canelo will win that fight. But it's not going to be an easy fight for Canelo. And if he thinks this is going to be an easy fight, he in for a rude awakening. If you think he was dodging Demetrius Andrade and he was dodging Charlo, well, guess what? You feel, oh, this one's an easy one to take? Okay, you think this is an easy one for picking? No, you motherfucker, you wrong. You picked the wrong one right there. All right, I should really shut the hell up. I should really shut the hell up and not say nothing. I just hope that they make the fight happen. Because I really want to see Caleb Plant face Canelo. Because Canelo been trying to dodge that bullet for the longest while. He don't really want to face a guy who really know their stuff. Really know what they're doing in there. Okay? Because Demetrius Andrade knows what he's doing in there. Okay? And Caleb Plant, he don't get me wrong, he's inexperienced, so the experience is gonna be something that Canelo can exploit. There's things Canelo can do in there, that he will be able to exploit Caleb with. But don't get it twisted. Caleb is not no easy walkover. He's not gonna be no easy walkover. I'm telling y'all. Remember I said it. I seen that boy's skill. I seen his dedication. I know for a fact. Canelo ain't run. He ain't running. He ain't steamrolling through no Caleb Plant. Y'all get twisted with power. Power don't mean shit if you can't land it. Holy Inferno says, nah, BWF is a linear champ in a glamour division with 100% ratio. I know you prefer the pure boxers, but I don't know, man. Canelo should fight David Benavidez first. Benavidez is a tougher fight than BWF. You heard me say it. Benavidez is a tougher fight than BWF. Okay? BWF is a smart fighter. He thinks in there. He's a rough and rugged fighter on the inside. Um, and he's strong as fuck. Notice I said strong as fuck. He has thudding punches. He can break you orbital board and shit like that. But Canelo's built for it, man. Canelo's built for that. And Canelo got defense, and that's a problem. BWF has not encountered anything like that. And I'm telling you right now, Canelo would beat BWF. He'd walk him down late in the fight. Y'all not listening. Notice I say this. I'm calling it. Right? I'm calling it. BWF is an easier fight than David Benavidez. Benavidez is fast. He's long. He's rangy. And also on top of that, Benavidez, he throws body shots, which so does BWF. He throws body shots from different angles because he steps a certain round. He's quick with his feet and with his hands. So, Canelo has to deal with that sharpness and that speed because this guy knows what he's doing when he's coming different angles. So Benavidez would actually be a tougher fight than BWF. Like I said before, Canelo's toughest fight will be against Demetrius Andrade. That's his toughest fight. That's the guy. That's why Canelo talking it down so much and saying how Demetrius Andrade is such a bad. Demetrius Andrade is a problem for anyone in there. The problem with it is if you keep Demetrius Andrade sitting on the shelf on the side, he's going to just get more and more experience. Ain't nobody quick to, not even Charlo want to face Demetrius Andrade. They're all talking him down and all that shit. Nobody wants to face him. You know why? Because he's the boogeyman. You want to know who the boogeyman is in the divisions? From 160 to 175? It's Demetrius Andrade. Ain't no motherfucker want to just step in that ring with him. Because they know they'll lose. He's not easy to win. He's a tough fight. That's the boogeyman. That's the boogeyman. Ain't nobody eager to face Demetrius Andrade. Nobody. Okay? That's the boogeyman. In boxing, it's not about how hard you can punch and how strong you are. No! That's called strongman contest. You can go into the strongman contest and pull all those trucks and all that shit, right? That's called the strongman contest. This is boxing. Boxing is based on knowledge. Okay? The baddest motherfuckers, not the ones who are stopping everybody left, right, and center. And the guys who's smart. They're real smart and they're hard to beat. Those are the baddest dudes. So you know who the baddest boys in boxing? Shakur Stevenson. That boy is a bad boy. Y'all gonna learn that real quick. They're trying to call him boring. You know why these motherfuckers calling him boring? Because they're afraid of him. They don't want to face him. They know they'll get beat. And in the process, you might get 12 rounds of beatings, which is worse than getting knocked out. You're getting embarrassed round after round. And you're getting beat up. When you finish with that fight, you lost a couple of years of your life. That's evil. He's not knocking you out. He's beating you up, though. Shane Mosley. Ask Shane Mosley about Floyd. Beat his ass up. Shane Mosley was never the same after that beating. You guys got to understand. I'm trying to break down boxing for you guys. Oh, there's some bad boys out there, man. BWF is the linear champ in the Glamour division with 100% knockout ratio. I know you prefer pure boxers, but I don't know, man. Canelo should fight David Benavidez. Oh, I just read that. It's from Holy Inferno. By the way, what did you say there? Mongulo? You mean Mungia? Mungia, that's the guy. Jaime Mungia was the young guy I was talking about who might face Triple G. Jaime Mungia. He a good guy. Boxing Scientist says Shakur is great at distance. He doesn't get hit. Yeah, he fights on the inside now too. He knocked out the guy with a buddy punch the fight before, fighting on the inside. Shakur been showing you guys different looks. He been fighting on the inside. He been fighting off the back foot. He been fighting off the front foot. He fought the southpaw on the front foot, walking to him, doing the Canelo thing, that precise footwork, coming off the angle, virtual distance, feinting, stepping, feinting, stepping, pushing the guy back in increments. Called precise footwork. That's what I call it. All right. You know, so many little tricks that Shakur be showing you guys in the game. And he's a vicious motherfucker. I hear in sparring can be very vicious. He beat the fuck out of you. But when he goes into the ring to do a performance, he give you a high level performance. And yeah, he didn't get the guy out of there because he didn't catch and shoot enough. Terrence Crawford was like, catch and shoot, motherfucker. But he didn't do it, right? He didn't do it enough with the most recent guy. So he didn't get him out of there. But he was basically doing the same thing over and over and over. The guy never really made an adjustment. So he just did the same thing over and over and over. So the fight was a little bit boring. But Shakur, man, he's a bad boy. He's a bad boy. He got a mean streak in him, but he can control it. He learned to control it. These are new school fighters. You know, they've been watching Floyd. They've been watching them guys. What do you think about Teal versus Josh Taylor? I'm going to be straight with you. Josh Taylor is a very skilled fighter. But Teofimo Lopez got some things. He got some guard gifting that's going to give Josh Taylor a lot of problems. And Josh Taylor is going to get hurt. And Teal hurt Josh Taylor and jump on him. He's going to get him out of there. So I think Teal beats Josh Taylor. Yeah, and Teal's a big guy. He's a big, strong guy, too. He just managed to be at 135, but he really should be at 140 right now. All them guys should be at 140. Tank should be at 140. Teal should be at 140. Haney should be at 140. And Ryan should be at 140. Them guys killing themselves to stay in the divisions that they are at. But they're doing it, so. All them guys bigger than Lomachenko. Lomachenko could be at 140, but he's going to be a small 140 pounder. Them other guys, they come in like 155, on fight night, 155. You know, they could go all the way up to 160 easy. Terrence Crawford, when he was at lightweight, he was already 155 pounds on fight night. Big guys, man. If they truly was fighting in the division, they're supposed to be fighting in there with middleweights. So we talking about lightweights, but they come in fight night, they come in middleweights. They fighting as middleweights fight night. Fuck lightweight. The boxing side says Loma will beat Haney if they fight. Nah. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Devin Haney's a different call. Like I said, Shakur, Haney, the new breed. We call them new breeds. There's another set of new breeds behind them, and they even badder. You know, think of this. These are the new breeds. We talk about Antoine Russell. Antoine Russell's a bad motherfucker. We got what's his name? Shit. Jerome Ennis. That's a bad motherfucker. Virgil Ortiz. That's a bad motherfucker. Devin Haney. Javante Davis. Ryan Garcia. Teofimo Lopez. These are bad motherfuckers. These are bad motherfuckers, y'all. There's a reason why their names are being called Shakur Stevenson. It's bad motherfucker. Like, y'all don't understand. This is a totally different generation, a new breed. Loma's great for his time. Guillermo Rigondeaux, he dominated that motherfucker. You know, those guys of his time, great. But what are we talking about right now? They're bad motherfuckers. What? Okay, let me put it to you this way. when you look at, for example, look at Errol Spence gonna face Manny Pacquiao, right? Who you think gonna win that fight? I mean, Pacquiao's great. He was great for his time, but Errol Spence is gonna take that fight. Okay, he's gonna beat him. All right, Bud versus Pacquiao. You got Pacquiao winning that fight. I mean, you could. I mean, you could. But Crawford's gonna be too much for him. Crawford gonna take it. Okay, why? It's a new generation. They've been watching Pacquiao. They've been watching Mayweather. They've been watching Roy Jones Jr. They got all the benefits of watching all these guys, and they dedicated to the sport. Crawford's dedicated. Spence, hopefully not drinking anymore. He dedicated too. I hope so. Um, you got to be dedicated to sport. And these cats, they live their life dedicated to sports. It's not like back in the day when the guys was kind of like they drink, they smoke, they womanize and all that shit. And no, we're talking about it's different now. And Pacquiao's phenomenal guy, but I don't have him winning that fight. I just don't have him winning against Errol Spence. That's not gonna happen. Sorry, Pacquiao. No. And I bet against Pacquiao before. I didn't think Pacquiao would beat Keith Thurman, but then I had the caveats. Errol Spence is very much aware of what Pacquiao can do and what he can't. He knows what's his brother. So he's gonna handle his business. Get that. I don't know if there's a strap on the line or not a strap on the line on Pacquiao's end. I was hearing first of all he was super champion, and the next thing I heard he's not super champion. So I'm not sure what's going on with Pacquiao. But either way, Pacquiao is just such a big name in boxing, and the fact that the guy got the balls to say he going after Errol Spence, I mean that right there to me is amazing. I'm like, fucking Pacquiao, dude. So he already amazed me. If the fight don't go through though, he's full of shit. But if the fight goes through, um, yeah, I think Errol takes it, and that's just the way it goes. Lomachenko, he great for his time. He great for his era. You know what I mean? But it's just a totally different era of fighters now, and he can't fuck with Haney. He just can't fuck with Haney. He can't fuck with Haney. Boxing Scientist says Haney had trouble with the fighter Loma stopped. Jorge Linares? Everybody got problems with Jorge Linares. Isn't that the guy that also dropped Loma? He dropped him with a counter right hand. Was winning the fight against Loma. Was winning the fight against Loma. So, I mean, what are you really saying? Didn't win the fight against Haney. And he tried to stop Haney. He tried to come on strong. But Haney knew what to do. Close the distance. Dude's a mid-range fighter. Smart fighting. You fight him on the outside, you fight him on the inside. And you clinch. Easy. Problem solved. It's boxing. You understand? Loma's smaller than Linares. Linares is long, rangy, strong. Haney was walking his ass down. He was walking down Linares and systematically walking him down, by the way. People was talking about it was fighting and he was trying to get him a show. No, motherfucker. He was walking down Linares. The problem why he got caught at the end of the 8th round was because he was in no man's land and Linares jumped on it. He was like, Linares stepped around him and Haney didn't realize his weak side and he stayed there. He was supposed to either pivot or he was supposed to step back. He did not do that. And so he was caught in no man's land and Linares had the angle on him and went bop, 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 four punch combination. Rattle Haney at the end of the round. You got to buckle a little bit. Kind of stumble back to the corner a little bit. Regroup, got his bearings in round 11, got his bearings back, and dogged Linares in round 12. And then started boxing him at the end of round 12. He was dogging him. Y'all really don't y'all don't realize what was going on in there. If y'all realize what you know what's the problem with some people? They think because a boxer can't stop a guy, he don't have one hitter quitter power, or he's not stopping people. That for some reason he's a weak boxer or some shit like that. Haney gave y'all a hell of a performance. He even got hurt in the fight, which was good. Y'all want to see him get me? Y'all didn't think he could get touched. He got touched, right? So and Linares hurt it with a 4-punch combination, which would have put down anybody else. But he snack strong, so he be with snack, so he's strong, right? And he's young too, so he can recoup a lot faster. But man, y'all tripping, man. Haney been around the game since he was a little kid, man. He was around the game since he was a little kid. Uh, Haney was getting dogged my ass, dogged my ass. Y'all wonder why Linares wasn't pulling the trigger? Because Haney was hitting him with that spear jab all the time. Haney would slip to the side, spear jab up the middle. Linares would just halt, stand in front of him watching him for a minute. Then Haney would just dip under and come up under and clinch him. AKA Evander Holyfield kind of clinch. Can't come out of that. And then what did he do? Dog walk his ass to the ropes. He pushed him physically to the ropes saying, I'm the stronger fighter. Y'all don't even understand the psychology of boxing, man. Y'all be talking out your emotions. Y'all not really talking out of watching the fight and what exactly the fuck you was watching. A lot of y'all just get emotional and start creating your own narratives. Haney neutralized Linares in 11 and 12 and landed a couple punches to say, I'm still here. Don't think you can just do that to me, motherfucker. Yeah, he got backed up a little bit in 11 12. Don't get it wrong. But he was saying, I'm still here. Because he was dipping and getting caught with shots as he was dipping. Initially in 11. Because Linares was letting it fly. He was trying to stop his ass. And people like, what? It looked like Linares took his foot off the gas. No, motherfucker. He wouldn't take it. He was walking into punches. Because when you start to get aggressive, when you start to throw shots, you can get countered. And Haney was just slipping. Whoop! That spear jab was really useful. He even lined him up with a jab and a right hand to the body. And Linares kind of got buckled. And Linares was like, fuck that. I'm old. I'm too old for this shit. I ain't going out like that. So he paced himself. Smart fighter. You gotta be smart. Haney wasn't getting dogged. At no time was Haney dogged. If Haney was dogged, then Linares would have him up against the ropes banging on him. That didn't ever happen in the fight. At any time was Linares even dogging Haney up in the ropes, with head in the chest or some shit like that. Just, going into the trenches with him. He wasn't doing none of that shit. Holy Inferno, it's crazy how Andrade is the boogeyman. Is he actually not a KO artist? But everybody's clearly ducking him. He's the boogeyman, man. He not a KO artist. Not a KO artist. You face Andrade, you gonna get your ass beat and embarrassed. They don't want that. They don't want to be embarrassed by Andrade. And take a beating on that. It's very merciful when you get your ass knocked out because you don't even know what happened, right? But when you know exactly what's happening and you feeling those liver shots and them spleen shots and them head shots, all you getting is your head knocked back all around the ring. Oh, that's not a good feeling. 12 rounds of that? Are you kidding me? See, people don't realize that. Some people, man, they take such a beating. Well, we've seen it. We've seen people die of beatings, right? Well, some people take such a beating. They make it to 12 rounds, right? They beat up real bad. They never the same. They're not the same fighter. The next fight, they're not the same, right? Because you take an ass whooping. That's what you took. So, and the fans don't really understand unless they're in there feeling those punches. How much of an ass whooping? Oh, he can't punch. Oh, he can't. I was listening to Danny Garcia saying how Sean Porter can't punch. Motherfucker, you was reacting to some of those body shots. Stop the bullshit. That's your pride. Maybe you had adrenaline, but your body was still reacting to the punches. Porter can punch a little bit. He's not a KO artist. He got a lot of tenacity, but he literally knocked Paulie the fuck out. He laid Paulie out cold. Porter can't punch. He knocked out Berto. Porter can punch. Okay? He's not no one-hitter quitter. He ain't got bricks or blocks in his gloves. Okay? He's not a Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia's probably the hardest puncher in the whole entire fucking welterweight division. Okay? All right? Danny can punch like a mule. But having said that, he may not be a one hitter quitter, but he ain't no pity patter. He ain't no slapping Timothy Bradley kind of guy. And no disrespect to Timothy Bradley, because he also a tenacious fighter. And Bradley can punch a little bit, but Porter ain't Bradley. Okay, so I mean, and Porter's physically strong. We all know he's strong, but he's not a one hitter quitter. And just because you're not a one hitter quitter doesn't mean that you're not a good boxer. Anyways, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm what you need. I gotta go. I got an appointment. Let me make sure I get to it. I hope I'm on time. Peace to you guys, man. I just wanted to talk about Canelo and Floyd again. Again, I don't like the disrespect and the hate to these guys, man. I don't like the disrespect and hate to them. They can have their opinion. You don't have to agree with it. But the one thing you need to do is respect them. And Canelo is a bad motherfucker. He's bad. And so was Floyd. Floyd, when he was in boxing, he was a bad motherfucker. That doesn't negate from Pacquiao. Pacquiao's a great fighter as well. Striving for greatness all the time. Cut from a different cloth. Okay? That doesn't take away from Pacquiao. But you don't have to cut down Floyd or cut down Canelo to raise up some other fighter like a Triple G or Pacquiao, who we all know are inferior to them. It's just what it is. Them guys got the science down pat. The science of boxing, them got that down pat. Pacquiao, he had to learn it on the way. And he's a master of what he does, but he's also becoming a master of boxing itself. All right? And, like I said before, he's up there with the greatest fighters of all time, Pacquiao. At one time, I was saying that Pacquiao probably greater fighter than Floyd. It depends on what criteria you're talking about when you talk about greatness. But obviously, Floyd is a bigger name than Pacquiao. Just what it is. And you don't have to like Floyd, but you must respect it. That's all I'm saying. Peace to you guys, man. I'm going to catch you guys later. What you need was in the building, and what you need is now gone. Deuces. Much love to you guys. Stay safe.